And lots of graffiti, lots of murals, lots of pieces of art. Nicosia, Falls, Shankill, Palestine, Israel. There's a face poking out, there's a red coloured face poking out. This was actually created by, a piece of artwork created by today's shipyard workers. They used, and the idea behind that was that they were reminding people, you've got this huge wall, but there's actually human beings on the other side of it, so don't forget there's human faces on the other side. And the Dalai Lama, and amongst all, you can see there's all sorts of different languages here telling us why don't you have peace. There's quotes from John Lennon songs, about 5,000 quotes from a John Lennon song on it. There's the Dalai Lama came here and he wrote a message on it. Now it's not there anymore because I chipped it out and sold it on eBay. But what he wrote is incorporated on this piece of art. Open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. Very, very important message actually. This piece of art, by the way, is talking about the wartime. And there's a soldier on the left saying goodbye to his wife, and the kids are sad, wondering will he ever get home again, and then they're getting on with life, and then finally he gets home and he's back in his shipyard clothes again, ready for normal life. Piece of artwork here describes not the two of the people kissing each other, the one after it. This describes the dark old days, the black old grey dark days with the masked men, and as you come to the right it gets brighter and nicer and more pleasant. But all the way through it you see the British flag. Because the Dalai Lama was at pains to tell people on this side of the wall, if you want to stay British, no matter what happens to the peace process, stay British. And he told the people on the other side, if you want to be Irish, you stay Irish. We just have to find a way to accommodate those two traditions side by side. Very, very difficult. And as we come down then, there's local artwork and people remembering the days of their childhood and songs and games that they played when they were children in the street, and the working places, the linen mills and the factories and the heavy engineering companies and the shipyard, all sorts of things. Now, we're going to go out towards the Shankill district. Now, where does Shankill get its name from? Shankill gets its name from the Irish language. Two Irish words, Shankill, which means the old church. And to understand that, you have to go back thousands of years. You'll see, as you go around, that Belfast is surrounded by limestone hills. There's lovely limestone hills up around there. And the very first people who lived in Ireland after the last ice age, 9,000 years ago, were the Mesolithic people, Middle Stone Age people. They lived up in those limestone hills collecting their flint. And this was a dent. Yeah. Well, St Patrick walked up that little dirt track through the dense oak forest, and halfway up he stopped, he found a little church and a graveyard built up around that church, and there still is a church on the site of that original place that St Patrick set it up. That site then became known as the Old Church, and Shankill in Irish. The dirt track itself were on the Falls Road, but we're going to go left here. You swing round here as we turn left, look up into the hills. There's mouth and chin on the right hand side, you see that? I don't know if you can catch that. I'll try to remember to tell you a bit more about that later on. Very important part of the literary history attached to it. That's your query you've got. But what we're going to do is where you'll see more British flags than since you left Britain. And murals to represent individual events that took place during the course of our troubles. So for example, as we approach Iceland, if you look back on the gable wall of this hairdressers, if you look back in the gable wall, there's a large number of sort of photographs taken from the newspapers of various bombings, that the large monument for the bombing that the IRA committed in 1975 and the people who died in that history. And in particular, the 1st of July 1916, the Battle of the Somme, about 5,500 Irish people died in the first couple of hours of that, and it's represented on both sides around here. Photographs of 9 soldiers from here who won the Victoria Cross, or who were awarded the Victoria Cross during the Battle of the Somme. A large number of people. And as you can see, a huge number of different flags, British flags, terrorist flags, UVF flags, Northern Ireland flags, that's the one with the red hand in the middle, sometimes called the Ulster flag. Usually called the Ulster. Organisations here would be the Ulster Volunteer Force, have you heard of that? Oh, UVF. Well, so you'll see a little bit on the left about various stages of life here. But on the right hand side, the gable wall on the right hand side, if you look back on it, IVF, that's another, UVF and IVF. I heard a terrible story of somebody from the Shankill Road who went to the UVF. And you may have noticed that we passed Glasgow Rangers Supporters Club there. It's Glasgow Celtic on the Falls Road, it's Glasgow Rangers on the Shankill Road. And you know, Glasgow Rangers and Celtic don't play each other anymore because they're in different leagues now. And do you know who the happiest people in the world are? The Belfast Police. And it actually has enhanced the peace process. The fact that they don't play each other helps our peace process. Because any day that Rangers played Celtic,
all of the gates in that 3-mile wall that I showed you had to close for 24 hours to allow all the tension to die down, because everybody went into the pubs and the clubs. Do you remember back in the just earlier this year, 12th of July? There's a little bit of difficulty, and as they came to each street, they started to branch off and go home, until it was left with about 100 Orangemen who got to this stage. Back in our ancestry, by the way, lots of there's a president of America. Over 20 of the presidents of America in their history have ancestry from what. Over the left hand side is Woodfield Park. Every night they have a reenactment of historic battles. But when you get up to the roundabout where this police Land Rover is guarding at the moment, this is a red Land Rover. All the houses on the left hand side are all Protestant homes, but the shops just behind the shops on the right hand side are all Catholic homes. And as the Orangemen wanted to march up that hill, you see all the flags and things complaining about the unable to march up. So the Protestant people were trying to march up that way, and the Protestant people came out the left, but meanwhile the Catholic people came out from behind these shops, and that's all Catholic homes on the left, to complain that the Orangemen shouldn't walk past. And this is the difficult junction that you see of Ardoyne. So anytime you see Ardoyne, and so a lot of people went in there with the hunger riots in Belfast. There, the suffragettes, we put them in there for a while when they were causing trouble, and then we had to let them out, give them the vote. Well, Reverend Ian Paisley spent on the right, and that's the Catholic New Lodge on the left, and to walk down past the Catholic chapel. Coming down here, we've got some church buildings, and again, this is where a bit of difficulty.